Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Today's video is one of your guys' favorite to watch and one of my favorite to film. And we do it every single month, so you guys know the drill by now. It is my TBR jar full of prompts, chooses my reads, this time for the month of December. This year has absolutely flown by. I feel like I've said something like that in every single one of these videos, but it's just true. Like, I do not know where the year has gone. For the month of December, I don't really have like any new releases on my radar or anything like that. I think I'm just gonna be sticking to my TBR cart and maybe reading like a holiday book or two. I'm not entirely sure yet. I kind of want to read those on my Kindle though. I don't know if I want to like purchase them physically. Maybe I'll get them from the library or just from Libby so I can read them on my Kindle. I've just been obsessed with reading on my Kindle lately. When we're talking about specific books though that I want to read, we have to bring up my 2024 TBR. And this year I did like a little reading journal spread for it. So I picked 24 books to read for 2024. And when I'm filming this, we have about a month and a half to complete this, and I have 10 books left on this list. So I'm definitely going to be referencing this while I'm picking out the books for today's video, just because I want to try and get as many of these on my December TBR as possible. For December, I'm not really going to be filming for videos or anything like that because right now is the peak filming time for me because of Bookmas coming up in December, which if you aren't familiar, I'm going to be doing the 12 days of Bookmas this year, which is 12 bookish and holiday themed videos from the 1st of December to the 12th of December. I already have all the videos planned and I've actually already started filming some of the videos too, and I'm so excited. So hopefully you guys are excited for that in December. But in saying that, I don't really have any specific reading vlogs or anything like that that I have to read for. So this is just gonna be a complete mood reading TBR with hopefully a lot of my 24 for 2024 on it. One book though that I have been itching to get to that is actually not on my 2024 TBR, but I just really want to read it, is the second book in the Prison Healers trilogy, which is The Gilded Cage. I think this is the second one. And then the third one is The Blood Trader. I just absolutely loved the first one. I rated it like a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. So I'm really hopeful that this ends up on the TBR this month. If it doesn't, honestly, I'll probably end up reading it anyways. Now, as somebody who reads a lot of books, I have wanted to get into writing for quite some time, and there's nowhere better to learn a new skill like writing than the sponsor of today's video, Skillshare, and thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes led by experts that can help you take your career, hobbies, and passions to the next level. They have classes on how to grow your business, film, painting, as well as beginner tips for platforms like Notion and Canva, which are really great tools for a lot of different career paths. As you guys know, I have been working my way through Skillshare's creative writing bootcamp class. Each exercise is 8 minutes long. The prompts were such great starters for me. I feel like I'm already learning so much about important writing tools like creating dialogue, building a setting and a plot, as well as building different types of characters. One thing I feel like you guys always ask me a lot about is content creation, specifically starting your first YouTube channel. And Skillshare actually has a learning path that'll take you from all the things you need to know to start your channel and then go into more advanced things as you grow in your creative career. The first 500 people who use my link in the description down below will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare, so join me on a learning journey today. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring today's video. Let's go ahead and get into the first prompt. That was satisfying. A book that's been hyped recently. I feel like a lot of Kristen Hanna has been hyped a lot recently over like the past year, I guess, on like BookTok, BookTube, Bookstagram, all those things. Honestly, just like any of her books, I know that so many people have been a fan of her books before they started to get popular on social media even too. I have Firefly Lane right here, but I feel like if I were to pick one, I would probably pick if I can get it out. I would probably pick The Great Alone by her. I just recently bought this, but a lot of people have told me that it gives like winter vibes, and it's also set in Alaska. And these are historical fictions. I feel like I would eat a historical fiction up, not gonna lie. And I've been wanting to read a book by her for a long time, so this is definitely on there. It's not on my 2024 TBR though, so I'm kind of nervous already starting with the prompt and choosing a book that isn't a part of my 2024 TBR. So let's see if we can find one that's a part of that first. I know Frederick Bachman is pretty hyped, actually. Very hyped, and I've heard so many people talking about Beartown, and this is actually on my 2024 TBR, so this could be an option. Plus these both give good like wintry vibes. This is like about a town that's like famous for their high school hockey team basically, and so it's kind of surrounding that, and it's more of like a literary fiction. I also feel like I've been hearing so much about An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir recently. I just picked up the first one like a month ago and I have been itching to read it, but I'm also like, do I start another fantasy series whenever I'm in the middle of so many? So let's put this one back and save that for another time. I've been seeing the Belladonna series honestly everywhere this past month just because the third one, Wisteria, recently came out, so people have been talking a lot about the series as a whole. But I don't know, I feel like we really should start with one that's on my 2024 TBR since it's literally one more month to end off the year and the TBR. So I think I'm gonna pick Beartown by Frederick Bachman. I don't really know much about this other than it is about hockey, like I was saying earlier, and I should probably read it during winter time. It's a literary fiction. So many people love this series. I think there's 3 books in it, and people just rave about his writing, and I really do love a good literary fiction. I feel like I've honestly been itching to read a literary fiction recently because I haven't read a lot over like the past few months or so, so I feel like this will be a good pick. And this is actually my first book by him, so I'm excited to try out a new author and him specifically because I've heard nothing but great things. So this is our first book on the TBR for the month of December. Let's pick our second prompt. A book by a male author. Honestly, I don't really read a lot of male authors. I've gotten this prompt before and I've had to put it back in because I didn't have any on the cart, and I just picked one of them by a male author. And I think I only have one other one, which is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This is the second book in the Skyward series, and every other one on here I'm pretty sure is written by a woman. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. This actually makes me really excited though. I read Skyward, I think about like a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, and I ate it up, so I really want to continue the series. This is actually a YA sci-fi series. If you're like curious about Brandon Sanderson at all, you probably have heard about his Cosmere, which is kind of how all of his worlds connect a little bit. This is not a part of the Cosmere, but I would recommend if you are scared to get into Brandon Sanderson to start with a YA series by him. I'm partial to Skyward because I've already started it and I'm really enjoying it. But basically throughout this series, we're following our main character Spensa, and she's always wanted to be a pilot, but for one reason or another, because of her family's reputation, she kind of has a hard time doing that. Her world has also been at war and under attack since like literally before she's been born. So it's a very interesting political dynamic as well, and I don't know, I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed her as a main character. There was a little sense of found family as well. Highly recommend this series and I cannot wait to continue it. So our second book on the TBR is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. Prompt number 3. Author with the same initials as me. Okay, so my initials are technically KW. I haven't switched my name yet though, so since I've gotten married, they're technically KS, so I guess we could look for any author, maybe with like the first name that starts with K or a last name that starts with W or S, because I don't think we're gonna be able to find any KWs or KSs. For K, we have Kristen Hanna, so I could pick one of her 2 books. I guess for last name starting with S, we could do Lore of Olympus by Rachel Smythe, which is a graphic novel series that I have gotten recommended by you guys so many times because I've talked a lot about my love for the Heartstopper series. So I've been wanting to get into other graphic novels. I don't know, maybe we will choose this one. Could also do The Wishing Game by Meg Schaefer for last name S. We also have 7 Days in June by Tia Williams for last name that starts with W. I don't know, out of all of them, I feel like I do want to do Lore of Olympus. I've actually been itching to read this recently. I don't really know much of what it's about. I just know that you guys have recommended to me so much in the comments, and the art on the pages is just so unique and beautiful, honestly. I think it's like a Greek mythology type thing though, because Lore of Olympus, so I feel like that kind of makes sense. So yeah, this is the first one. I don't know how many there are, but I'm really excited to dive into this. Let me know if you guys know more about this in the comments down below, or if you've read it, I would love to know like your general thoughts on the series. Okay, we have our third book for the December TBR. Let's pick prompt number 4. Book ending in an odd number of pages. Okay, that sounds simple enough. I'll be completely honest, there is one book that I really want to get to in the month of December just to kind of get it out of the way, and especially because I'm not really going to be filming reading vlogs in December, so I feel like this would be kind of a good one to knock out then, which is the first book in the Crescent City series. This is House of Earth and Blood. I have the pretty Barnes & Noble special editions of the first 2. I don't have the third one yet because I haven't even started reading the first 2. This is also on my 2024 TBR, so let's see if it has an odd number of pages at the end. We're not counting going into the next book, and we're also not counting the acknowledgements. We will count the epilogue though. Let's see. $7.99. Let's go. I've been wanting to read this series and this book specifically for so long. I've heard good things about this series, specifically this first one. Kind of mixed reviews on the second and the third one, honestly. I don't really know anything about it, to be honest. I know some of the names of the characters, like we're following Bryce. I know that. There's like Hunt and Rune and Lydia. And this is the last series that I have to go through in the Massiverse, and I want to be able to say that I've read them all, especially because I know that they're all connecting in one way or another, and I want to be ready for whenever the next book comes out so I can be a part of like the release place and everything. So I feel like new book releases and even like those little like parties they have at Barnes & Noble and stuff like that and signings are just so fun, and I've always wanted to go to one of those for like a book that I'm excited about. Plus I really like Sarah J Maas. Sword of Glass is one of my favorite series and I really enjoyed ACOTAR whenever I read it, so I am really excited. So our fourth book on the TBR is going to be Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I know Jordy and Abby, if you're watching this, you guys are like screaming at the screen right now. You're like so excited because they've been wanting me to read this for so long. That one's for my book club besties. Now on to the fifth prompt. Okay, I feel like I always end up picking two. I can't see them right now, so I don't know what they say. I'm gonna pick the orange one. Okay, I got Kindle Unlimited, which I'm very excited about. I feel like there's a lot of books that are on my physical TBR that are also on Kindle Unlimited, which is what I'm going to try to do for this one because obviously I want to try and diminish my physical TBR. I know Firefly Lane by Kristen Hanna is on there, which I've been wanting to read this for a while. I just don't really think I want to read it this month. I feel like if I'm going to read a Kristen Hanna book in like the winter, I would rather read The Great Alone or The Nightingale, which my mom has, so I could just borrow it from her. I know Curse of the Wolf King by Tessania Odette is also on Kindle Unlimited. This is a part of the Entangled with Fae. I think they're interconnected standalone series. These are like fantasy fairy tales, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. That's all I really know about it, honestly, but I love a good fairy tale fantasy and I've been wanting to read more of them, so this is definitely an option. Love Redesigned by Lauren Asher is also on Kindle Unlimited. This is also on my 2024 TBR, so this would be a good pick. Okay, also Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham Young is on Kindle Unlimited and also on my 2024 TBR, and honestly I think I'm gonna pick this one. We don't have a single romance on the TBR yet, and I've been wanting to read this for so long. This is a trope that I know a lot of people don't like, but a lot of people say that it's done really well, and I recently, like a few months ago, read the same trope in another book where a lot of people loved it in that book, but they don't normally love the trope, and I ate it up and loved it, which was Reckless by Elsie Silver. It's a 5-star read for me. It didn't start off as a 5-star read. I was like, oh, like 4.5, 4.75, but I just could not stop thinking about it. So I've been thinking about this book for so long, and I feel like it's been a bit since I read that one, so I feel like I'm really gonna love this. I've been wanting to read one of her books for so long too, so I'm really excited for this to be on the TBR, and I feel like out of all of these I'm the most excited about this one, and it's on my 2024 TBR, so yeah, I'm really excited. This is gonna be our fifth book on the TBR. Okay, and then like always, I normally just do 6 books on my TBR each month, so we're gonna stay true to that. So let's pick our 6th and final prompt. Roll a dice for the number of words in the title. Okay, that's a fun one. Okay, I was just informed by Luke that we don't have any dice. I thought we had some, but we don't. We don't have any like board games that really use dice that we have yet in like our little board game collection. So I think I can just ask Siri to do it. Hey Siri, roll a dice for me. Okay, she picked 1. So a 1-word title? That'll be interesting. 1-word title. We have Belladonna by Adeline Grace. This is more of like a gothic fantasy, I guess. I feel like I talked about this a little bit earlier. I don't really want to pick that one though. If it's our only option, I will. I'm excited to read it, but I feel like there's something on my 2024 TBR I could do. Let's look at my list. Guys, I think I'm gonna pick Caraval by Stephanie Garber. As you guys know, I love the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. It's a 5-star series for me. It's so good, and this is by the same author. This is actually the series that is before that one, but a lot of people have been coming back to this recently, either rereading it because they read it a few years ago, or finally reading this for the first time, because I know a lot of people have skipped out on this trilogy before reading the Once Upon a Broken Heart trilogy. My friend Abby specifically has read this trilogy recently. She flew through it, and it's just a YA fantasy series. I believe it's like fairy tale-esque as well, kind of like Once Upon a Broken Heart. I just ate those up, and I love a YA fantasy, just to be completely honest. Like, they're so good, and it is on my 2024 TBR, so I feel like I kind of have to choose it. I'm really excited. This is gonna be our 6th and final book on the TBR. Let's go ahead and do a recap of all the 6 books that I chose. The first one I got was a book that has been hyped recently, so I chose Beartown by Frederick Bachman, and then I chose a book by a male author, and I chose Starsight, which is the 2nd book in the Skyward series by Brandon Sanderson. The next prompt was an author with the same initials as you, going off of my new last name, which is Starks. So I chose an author with an S last name, and the book I chose was Lore of Olympus by Rachel Smythe. The next prompt I chose was a book ending in an odd number of pages, and I chose the first Crescent City book, which is Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. I cannot get over these special editions. They're so beautiful. Then I chose a book off of Kindle Unlimited, and it's also on my physical TBR, so I chose Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonham and Young. And then for our sixth and final prompt, I had Siri roll a dice to determine the number of words in a title, and we got 1, so I chose Caraval by Stephanie Garber. Okay, here is the TBR for the month of December. I'm really excited, to be honest. I feel like we have a good mix of genres. It's a little bit fantasy heavy with 3 fantasies, technically 4 if we're counting Lore of Olympus, but I feel like I'm always in a fantasy mood in the winter anyways, and then our literary fiction and the romance can be little palette cleansers in between the fantasy series. I also have 4 books on this monthly TBR that are on my 2024 TBR, so I feel like that will definitely help me reach my goal and motivate me even more to read these books and also finish my 2024 TBR. And let me know if you guys have read these books and have any thoughts on them in the comments down below. Before I forget, let's go ahead and put our prompts from this month away so we're not reusing prompts. I have thought about adding all the prompts we used this year back into the jar, so let me know if you guys want to do that in the new year or not. I did recently add some new prompts, but I feel like it'd be fun to add the old ones and then add some more new prompts too. So if you ever have any ideas for prompts, leave them down below as well. If you guys did enjoy this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you watched until this far in the video, go ahead and comment down below the jar emoji so I know who the real ones are who watched till the very end. And if you want to keep up with me on the daily, go ahead and follow my Instagram, my TikTok, and my Goodreads especially if you want to keep up with what I'm reading in real time. Those will all be linked down below. And yeah, I think that is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. You're having an amazing day, and I love you so much. I will see you guys in my next one. Bye, guys. If you guys... period. Instagram, my TikTok, and my Goodreads. Huh? I ate that.